It is your money. This is not some brokerage account where you're just like, oh, well, I'm just going to give my money to that guy. We have to stop doing that. Take responsibility for what you're doing. Educate yourself. And in some cases, I have clients that are more educated than the guy that was selling them insurance because they've done their due diligence. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. Thank you very much for being here. All right, today, let's continue with the hang-ups of IBC and why people are saying, you know what, this probably is not something that I'm going to trust. Okay, last week we went through 5 of them. Let's go through the other 5. Number 6 is lack of flexibility in the premium payment. And so this is a huge misconception when we talk about whole life, because you have people out there telling you that whole life has zero flexibility to it. That's why you need to buy some sort of universal life product. It's far more flexible. If you have an agent tell you that a whole life policy is not flexible, they have no idea what they're doing. Because when we build our policies, we build them for flexibility. If you are putting the correct riders on the policy, you are going to have flexibility. If you don't know what that is, if your agent doesn't know what that is, then go find somebody that does, aka someone like myself or John or someone that works with me. Do not assume that you are only going to have a policy that you have to pay this flat amount. There is a part of the policy that is required to be paid every single year. Absolutely. But the majority of that policy is extremely flexible. So don't be buying into that as a fear. If it's set up correctly for you, you're going to have enough flexibility that you should be able to pay it every year, even in worst case scenario. The next one is people are confused by the tax benefits. And so some people think, oh, well, what are the tax benefits? I don't know what they are. That's scary. What if I get audited? What if my accountant doesn't know? All that good stuff. And so here are the tax benefits. It grows income tax free, and it's going to come to you income tax free if you borrow the money or take out what you contributed. If you take out more than you contributed, so let's say that you're paid, not contributed, but paid. So let's say that you've paid in $100,000 of premium. You can only take out, meaning withdraw, $100,000. If you withdraw more than that, you're going to pay tax on it. If you borrow against it, you don't pay tax on any of it because it's borrowed money that should be paid back, or interest should be paid, or it comes out of your death benefit. There is not a tax advantage to pay premium. This is where people get confused. I was just visiting with a guy online about this because there is so much misinformation. You do not get to write your premium off as an expense. If you do, it is in some sort of a trust or something where you probably can't even get control of the cash value because it's locked up. And so you do not get to write your premium off as a business expense. You don't get to write it off as any sort of expense. You can turn around and borrow cash value to buy something that can create an expense, but you are not able to use premium as an expense. If you expense the premium, your death benefit goes to your heirs taxable. A lot of people think, oh, this is some big tax loophole. No, it's not. It's just if you use it correctly, then you get the tax advantages of it. If you don't use it correctly, you don't get the tax advantages. There's not a tax loophole. It's the tax code. Okay, the 7th one, information overload and contradictory advice. Now, what was I just talking about? A lot of misinformation. This is the hardest one for you guys as consumers. I really, really do feel bad for you because when I got into this industry, there wasn't anything. There was one guy on YouTube talking about it. There was Nelson's book. There was nothing on the Yahoo, okay? Because there was no Google back then. There was really nothing on Yahoo. There was nothing to say, hey, this is legit. I had to step into it a little bit blind and go, gosh, I hope that this is legit. I mean, I did go to the insurance commissioner's website and made sure that all was good. But there wasn't as much information as there is now. And so what's happened is a lot of people have taken the infinite banking concept and twisted it. That is why it is so important to make sure that you are working with a reputable agent. Most of those reputable agents are going to be NNI authorized. The Nelson Nash Institute, we are authorized practitioners. If we are not representing infinite banking correctly, we get kicked out and we lose our authorization. And so if you are looking for an agent that is understanding IBC, go to infinitebanking.org. You can find a practitioner. Here is my warning there. I am on the council of the NNI board. I am one of the council members. I am here to tell you that we are even trying to make sure that people that are authorized are acting at their highest standard, not misrepresenting information. We are ending up having to police a little bit of what is going on. It is absolutely unfortunate, but I understand it as an agent and a practitioner because guess what? My book, Farming Without the Bank, is out there being circulated. People are using that book and using it to sell universal life, using it to try to sell just straight up life insurance. They are not using it to teach infinite banking. And even some of the authorized practitioners are not doing it correctly. And so make sure that you are either calling David Stearns at NNI, or you are reaching out to me and saying, hey, I work with this agent. Do you know them? Are they good? Because you guys, we can't, as the Nelson Nash Institute, he can't police every single agent out there. And some people are upset that Nelson ever even created a practitioner program. Those people that are upset about it have not ever gotten to the point where their stuff is stolen and misrepresented. I will always back NNI because I am at the point where people are stealing my content and they are redistributing it in their own way to make a commission. And so you guys, it sucks for you because you have to do your due diligence. But at the end of the day, who do you trust? Who is giving you this information? The gentleman that I was visiting with last week via Facebook, he asked a question within a Facebook group and nobody answered the question except me. I am not patting myself on the back. I am just giving you an example. And he emailed me or he messaged me privately and said, thanks for the information. You're the only one that will answer the question directly. If your agent cannot answer a question directly, if they cannot answer a basic question, if they cannot say, you know what, I don't know that, let me go find the answer, then we have a problem. You don't make money taking loans. If somebody says you make money taking loans, that's a problem. And so this is the hardest piece for you. And if it does stop you, I can understand that. However, also look at the fact that how contradictory are people when they say you should buy a Ford versus a Chevy. Oh, Dodge is the best, right? You should invest in this stock versus this stock. Does it stop you from doing anything? No, it should just make you do further due diligence so that you know you're making the right decision. So don't let that stop you. Just keep reading and keep educating yourself. The more you're educated on infinite banking, the more successful you're going to be with it. It is not something that you just buy a policy and you just never pay attention to it again. If that's what you plan to do, then don't even buy the policy because it's just not going to work the way we talk about it in our books. You need to do your homework. You need to apply it. You need to be the banker. All right. Number 9 is the fear of missing out on other investments. And this is very interesting to me because I got this list, you guys. I went into AI and I got this list. And these are all legitimate concerns. This is just one that I would have not thought of. And so if you have a fear that you're going to miss out on buying real estate, why? Because you pay your premium and then we borrow against it and we go buy the real estate. If we have a fear of missing out on other investments, such as something in the stock market or whatever, we can put our money in the policy, borrow against the policy, and invest in the stock market, right? We can still do everything we want in life because the money is liquid. Cash value is liquid. You have access to use it and then go do whatever it is that you want to do. The fear of missing out is not existent. That shouldn't even be a fear because of the fact that it's there. The money is there for you to use. Now, is in the early years of your policy, within the first 10 years, do you have access to a little less than what you put in? Yes, you do. But if you put money into a 401k, you don't have access to any of it. If you put money into an IRA, you don't have access to any of it, right? If it's a traditional IRA, a Roth is going to work a little bit different. So imagination, reason, logic. That's what Nelson said. Use imagination, reason, and logic. So think about those things and listen to podcasts like you are and all these other things so that you can understand. We don't really have a fear of missing out. We get our cake and we get to eat it too, sort of. Okay. The next one is difficulty finding a knowledgeable advisor. This goes back to how do you know who to trust? And again, do your due diligence. Go to the NNI website, email me, call me, make an appointment. If you feel comfortable with me, make an appointment with myself or John. There are a couple of us in the office that you can work with. I'm bringing new agents on. I am not allowing those agents to just go out there and willy-nilly do business because I want them trained. Once they are trained, then there will be other people within my office to work with. John has been here for 5 years with me, and so he is very trained on what to do and how to make sure we can help you best. As other agents come on and I get them trained and I'm confident in them, great, fantastic. We will possibly add them. There are lots of us out there. There are only about 800 authorized agents. So are they everywhere on every street corner? No. But if they're not answering questions, if they're not getting you information, that if they're not directly answering a question, they are not knowledgeable. If they're trying to sell you some sort of universal life, they're not knowledgeable. If all they do is talk about death benefit, this is what I see a lot. You'll go to some other agent, some friend, a local person, whatever, because you don't trust me, I'm on the internet, I get it. So you go to some local person and they're like, oh yeah, I can do that. I've heard of that. And then I see the illustration and they figured your premium based on death benefit. Why? Well, if you have an even death benefit amount, you did not get sold the policy correctly. Your death benefit should not be even because we are looking at a policy based on premium, based on how are we going to use it to finance things in our life. All those things. If they're not doing an hour and a half meeting with you and they're not gathering information about your personal finances, your goals in life, what's happening with family, all that stuff, then they're not doing it right. You guys, it's insane. Even myself, I am one of the very few practitioners that are authorized that actually sit down and have over an hour meeting for free with my clients because I want to know you. I want to talk to you. We are building a relationship. I want to know exactly what our goals are in life, and not so much goals, but like, what are you dreaming of? What are your aspirations? How can we get you there? What's important to you? What's not important to you? If somebody's not asking you those things and they're just saying how much premium you want to pay, they're not explaining the structure of the policy, you're probably not in good hands. And I'm not out here to diminish other practitioners and other life insurance agents. It just is what I see all the time. People have no idea how to even relate this to their life because nobody has sat down with them and actually spent the time with them. So many people as agents want to just make commission, and we want to write as many policies as we possibly can so we can make a bunch of money. Okay, you know what? If I sit down with you and I can tell you've not read the book, you don't understand the concept, you're saying things that just don't make sense, I am not going to write a policy for you. Absolutely not. I have told more people in the last year, this is not a fit for you, or you need to go back and you need to do more due diligence. You're not comfortable with this. You can't shit or get off the pot. You're just hemming and hawing. No, we're done. We are done because you're not comfortable, which means you are not going to make a good client. You are not going to make a good banker. And so if you have an agent that isn't doing those things with you, how knowledgeable are they? It is not easy to find that person. I 100% understand. Keep looking. It is your money. This is not some brokerage account where you're just like, oh, well, I'm just going to give my money to that guy. We have to stop doing that. Take responsibility for what you're doing. Educate yourself. And in some cases, I have clients that are more educated than the guy that was selling them insurance, because they've done their due diligence. So that's a hard one too. Just keep looking and know what you're looking for. Somebody that is authorized, somebody that knows what Nelson was talking about. If they are not relating your conversation back to becoming your own banker, and we're not talking about infinite banking, all they're doing is selling you life insurance. All of this should relate back to you being the banker, back to the problem and the solution. If we've not read the book, if we don't have the book in our office, if we're not following that, if we're not doing that full time, all day, every day, how much knowledge do we have? You guys, the amount of stuff I learn after 14 years of being in this industry is crazy. And this is all I do. I cannot imagine doing this along with something else. How knowledgeable are we going to be if we have an agent that doesn't work this full time? And if they don't work it full time, great. Who is their mentor? Who is teaching them? If they don't have a mentor, if they're not being taught by somebody that knows infinite banking, then what? Then what? They're just teaching themselves? I didn't teach myself. Nelson was my mentor, and I had another mentor, along with all these other people within this industry that I am in touch with. You guys, take your money seriously so we can get to the next step. If we just willy-nilly do this stuff, guess what's going to happen with our future? It's just going to willy-nilly show up. Okay. Those are the 10 things that keep people hung up on infinite banking. Let me know if you guys have comments, questions, concerns. If you have not gotten the book, Life Without the Bank, go to withoutthebank.com, grab Life Without the Bank, grab Nelson's book, get those 2 books right there, Life and BYOB, and read those, schedule an appointment. Whoever you schedule with in the office, we will take care of you. We will make sure everything is set up correctly. We will explain everything so that you have the knowledge you need to move forward. The more questions you have, the more we appreciate it, because that means you're doing your due diligence. All right. Let me know if you need anything, Mary Jo at withoutthebank.com. Otherwise, you have a fantastic rest of your day.